Okay, let me start out by really thanking Jeffrey for spending your quiet time with us. I've heard so much about you and about the company throughout my years with NUS. I was expecting to see someone who come in and talk all the legal and all the finance and all the how difficult it is to fundraise, that kind of thing. But when you were going through just now with the audience, all your stories, I found those things that you shared was truly humbling. And you're just like a down-to-earth person, like many of us, and you remain very technical, sounds like. So for that, I'm really grateful for your presence today. So I actually would like to start out with your last slide, when you say you have this curve that you ask all your employees to do, the up and down, right? When it comes to starting a business, we all know that fundraising is probably by far the most challenging ones. Are we okay? Okay. I was referring to the last slide. If you can bring up the last slide. Right. So I'd like to have Jeffrey share with us his personal experiences through the up and down of your life, in specific with your fundraising experiences. I find it quite fascinating that when you got your Series A, you were happy, and then B happy, and then C happy, but then D all of a sudden not so happy, and then E happy again. How is that so? And could you kindly share with us your experiences?
Yes.
And the last slide still up there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead then.
Yeah.
Why were you not happy with Series D?
I think to me personally, I find that every round of fundraising literally is like, after you raise that round, yes, happy, but usually that means your bar is higher, the boss level you need to hit to get to the next milestone is tougher. So every round of fundraising literally is we need to upgrade ourselves, the whole company. So in Series A, I think our whole company size may be less than 100 people. Series B maybe 200. I remember Series C, that was the fastest growing from 200-300. We quickly grow to close to 1,000 people, and that scale that changed the organization structure a lot. Like a lot of things, like when PatSnap was young, small, 20-30 people, I can easily just pull everyone, go dinner, and then I just start brainwashing them. Hey, this is we must do this. This is the vision. And then in the office, I always the first one to go, last one to leave. But as the organization grow to a few hundred people, multiple offices, my way of communication have to change. Like I can't just show by example. So a lot of things need to change. And also, especially people management, people leadership. So one thing I can share in the Series A fundraising, before we raise our Series A fundraising, me and our angel investor, the one who invested in 2010, I remember me and him fly all around the world. Because back then in Singapore, still don't really have that VC environment yet. So we have to, I remember we go to London, go to Munich, go to Bay Area to pitch to investor for funding. But I mean, you can understand why would investor invest a startup unknown who is 10,000 miles away. So after 1-2 months of roadshow on the road, and then coming back to Singapore, and I can't remember the exact setting, but I was in his meeting room, and then he banged on the table and said, "Jeff, you are not fit to be CEO. You can't even pitch. You are so not confident. You need to be very alpha. You need to show that you know better than the investor." Back then, I truly wasn't. I really still don't even know we can survive for the next year. Lack of conviction as well. I think that really one of my low point, or at least got me reflect a lot. Like, am I really ready, or am I fit to be CEO or leading the company? So those are points that I think happened. That was right before raising Series A. And of course, then we were lucky, we met Vertex here and then raised our first round. Of course, every round also got many stories, because one thing I look back, now I'm also talking to a bunch of private equity investors. I find that when I look back, every round, the story we tell investor is different. doesn't matter. Actually, all the investor want to hear is a good narrative, a convincing, believable narrative. Of course, end of the day, you still have to deliver numbers. But after you deliver numbers, whatever, the narrative that worked at that time. Of course, the core business, our vision still doesn't really change. But I think every round of, coming back to your question, every round of fundraising is like, have to 脱一层皮, so have to transform ourselves and face many organizational challenge, strategy not clear, people complain, all this. Then you have to just solve this before you are ready to raise the next round, and the numbers will show anyway. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that really, again, when you listen to Jeffrey, you don't hear that alpha type of his. But I'm pretty sure that whenever he put himself in front of investors, it's a different Jeffrey, I'm guessing. And a different one every time, right? You tell a different story.
Yeah, I want to add this. So after, that angel investor kind of criticized me, I was really down, and I have a lot of self-doubt as well. Over the years, I slowly find, I was looking back, like why would all these really, really smart investors want to invest in me and the team and the business? Actually, I find, all of them have met many, many entrepreneurs as well. So why would they choose to invest in PatSnap, in us? So actually, I find that sometimes being what I call authentic, being yourself, I think that actually help you gain trust better. So I find that this is my style. Like I just say how it is like with my team, with investor. So I actually that help even gain trust. Because if I screw up and during the board meeting I will say, I screw up on this, then this is how I think I would like to solve that. I think these are actually also some good attributes. I think I met many other entrepreneurs CEO. They are definitely alpha type, salesy type, but I do think any type works as long as you find your own true type. Don't try to imitate someone else. Yeah.
What's that? Okay, so let me jump to the next slide.
Still not working. Okay. Right. Jeffrey, we cannot go without mentioning AI. And your presentation and sharing with us just now, you also mentioned AI quite a bit. Looking back, though, I would add that really you started the company in 2007 when this so-called new wave of AI, in fact, people didn't even know what generative AI was all about at that time, right? So as you grow the company throughout this wave of AI that's coming back, how do you see yourself as positioning the company? I was very happy. I checked out your website. You did mention AI. You did have this hero language model thing. But on the other hand, you didn't want to just all of a sudden say the company is all based on AI and AI only. So for some of the founders in the audience that may have the interest of founding a company that either utilizing AI or developing new AI algorithms themselves, what would be your advice to them in sort of riding with this wave but don't get swallowed?
Yes, just to share a bit why we decided to invest in AI in this LLM starting early last year, because this is also a big investment for us, costs about tens of millions a year, because we need to get all the GPU. Now we have a few hundred GPU cards and have a team of 50 people, the data scientists, the AI algorithm people work on that. So why we decided to invest, I think really key factor, and I spoke to all our investors as well, how they look at all the AI portfolio company they invested in. I think number one is really you need, in order for you to have an edge, you need data set that someone else don't have or hard to access. I think this is first one. If you are just using a ready-made available model out there, it's hard, a bit hard to build your moat, to build your barrier. If someone else see, they maybe can copy easily. I think the data set is key. But the data set also take long time to build. I think we are fortunate because we spent the last 10 plus years building our data set on patterns. So patterns is public data, but for public data, they maybe have only 5 to 10 metadata field. Over the years, we have added thousands of metadata field. So our pattern data set are highly curated, highly unique, high quality. So that's why I think we willing to bet on this. Second one is, if you are choosing to use AI to do a startup, I think really to know your space, to know your customer, to know your use case, your vertical well. For us, and I met many other B2B founder also applying AI. I think because they know the space, they really can come out very specific feature that is for that customer in that B2B setting for that department. And I don't think all the big players will compete with you on this. First, the market may not be big enough for them. Secondly, you know this setting better than them. So I think that is how you can try to have a sustainable edge as well. So I think have tried to get some really unique data set to train it. Second one is really good domain know-how, good user understanding on the problem that you are solving.
Yeah, what's that? IG, as a professor in computer science working on artificial intelligence myself, I completely agree with Jeffrey, right? Really, you have to be first true to the data, right? Really garbage in, garbage out. Without the true data that they have as their strengths, you will not be able to succeed. And the second is how you distinguish yourself from other companies. Everyone is all claiming AI, using AI, whatever, whatnot. You also say that these days when you mention AI in your company proposal, you're going to get higher valuation, just that like that. It's pretty crazy out there, but I do encourage all of you to be one, true to the data that you have, and that will be your power, and definitely true to be the features that will distinguish yourself with other companies. So moving along, the third question is a bit touchy. Being a global company by now, you started from Singapore, from the US, and then you got your big success first with China, and of course now in London, US as well. How do you foresee the way that as a global company, you want to say that business is different from politics, but with the geopolitics evolving the way that it is, things are getting more and more, shall I say, complicated. So how do you as a company, and also give advice to our new founders, our young founders, in terms of maneuvering their own business, in terms of this very, very messy geopolitics?
No, this is a real problem. In fact, last night I was on a call with all other CEOs talking about globalization as well. I think one of them shared the analogy I think is quite good. I think many years ago, not sure if you all have read a book by Tom Friedman called The World is Flat. Now the world is not flat. So there are many hills, there are many troughs. It's not flat because of all the geopolitics going on. And talking to many people, I don't think, personally, I also don't think the geopolitics will get better. I think if not worse, I think it's very good already. So definitely as part of the business, it becomes a requirement now to take all the geopolitics into consideration. So for example, how we set up multiple data centers in all these different regions, how we set up development team in different regions to try to diversify the risk. If the geopolitical risk tension get higher, and how we do the branding of the company, how we set up our legal structure, all these really need to start taking into consideration more and more. Yeah, but I think as a start, if you are starting up, I think this issue will come, but I think as an early stage startup, I think just focus on one market, and just I think the biggest risk for more earlier stage startup is not killed by geopolitics or competitor. A lot of time, many people are afraid, oh, my competitor copy my idea. I mean, if they really copy and do better, that means just your ideas are not good enough, your execution are not good enough. Many entrepreneurs I know, they don't kill by competitor or geopolitical risk, but mostly they are killed by themselves. I think they just didn't focus solving the right problem, delivering value to their customer, generating revenue. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that truly honest and also sincere words of wisdom. Okay, so with the remaining time, I do want to open it up to the audience for you to ask any questions you have in mind. Okay, so it's by a show of hands. Okay, wow, really quick already. Actually, I know some of you sent in the written questions already. We're trying to come to that. But since we have hand raised already, a gentleman right in front of me on the first, one, two, three, fifth row. Yes, that's you. Yes. And then come back to you.
Hello.
Okay. Go ahead. Just approach one of the microphones.
No mic there.
Oh, those. Yes, we took them. Yes. Or you want to come up to the stage? I'll give you mine.
Maybe identify yourself first and then with the question.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Jeffrey. Check. Okay. That was so impressive. I would like to ask. Check. Okay. I would like to ask two questions, basically. The first one about the feeling. So, may you share with us how do you feel as a unicorn startup founders having 1 billion valuation? Maybe it increase a level of happiness, or you feel still doesn't good enough, and then you may want to dominate more. And the second questions, recently I just found one interesting blog post from avc.com. It's by Fred Wilson. He is the venture capitalist from America, the US. So he posts that a CEO does does three things. The first one is sets the overall vision and strategy for the company and communicates it to all stakeholders. The second one is to recruit, hires, and retains the best talent for the company. And the third one is make sure there is always enough cash in the bank. So I would like to ask you which one from these things is the most hardest one for you, and why you think so. I think that's all. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. So the first question, if I understand correctly, is my feeling on becoming unicorn. Okay. Actually, quite mixed feeling as well. So, of course, it's good to get that recognition back then. I think we raised at a good time as well. So why we decided to raise back then, actually we still have money, but kind of my assessment was the market will not be good for too long. So I think looking back, we are fortunate we raised that big amount of cash in early 2021, because after that, the market crashed, and if you try to raise, it's much harder. So that's why I say many times entrepreneurship also need luck, is the timing as well. So that one. Then the feeling is mixed, because with that round and some of the previous round as well, so founder got the chance to sell off some of the secondary share, we call. So with that round, kind of, I would call financial independence. Not freedom, I think there's a difference. Freedom is, I call it, you can do whatever fuck you want. In financial independence is, you don't need to worry about money, but can't do anything you want yet. So I'm at that stage, and suddenly got me thinking a lot. Because by then, I've been working on PatSnap. Since graduate, this is my only job. I think I've been working for 14, 15 years. My identity is tied to PatSnap, everything. So suddenly got me thinking, what if PatSnap one day, like either, sold, or I'm outside of PatSnap. I think that got me, and I'm about reaching the age of 40s. This year I'm 40. I'm not sure. For Chinese, there's a proverb, 男人30而立，40而出. When you reach 40, it's saying you basically should know what life mean for you, or you should be wise. Because I'm reaching 40, I was thinking, I still don't know what I want. I'm still figuring out. Anyway, all these kind of make me think a lot more about my personal journey and kind of what is my destiny. It's a mixed feeling when I become unicorn. And of course, in the beginning also good recognition, but as you all know, market crash, That's why I heard last week you all have sharing from Shortback, Carousel. So the few of us, we have our own WhatsApp group, we hang out, and we all say, we are all, since 2-3 years ago, now try to climb back to the unicorn status, get back to the valuation. This is the journey we are at now. So yeah, on the first question. The second question, I think you are mentioning out of communication, recruiting, building team, and one more, like what are the most important, in my opinion, for me as well. Yeah, as a founder, as any good leader, you need to really jack of all trades. So you need to communicate well, like to investor, to my team, like what is the direction of the company, show clarity. Recruitment, I think, is part of it, but one thing I find is really getting the team come together. And they're always saying, I think Steve Jobs and many others say, like, hire people smarter than you, and then just leave them be. That is overrated, simplified. Like, for people smarter than you, why would they listen to you? And let's say you have a bunch of smart people, they will fight. And how do you get everyone listen? It's not that simple. Yeah, I think for me, I find it the most important, and also for me that I have many lessons. I think is because of my character as well. I'm more in the MBTI, Myers-Briggs, I'm ISTP. I'm more introvert, sensing thinker. I'm not the emo, feeling type. Sometimes people emotion, feeling like, now better, earlier is like, what is that? And someone changed their hair, I don't even recognize, yeah. So I'm insensitive, very, very rational, logical. And of course, over the years, so with many people that is really emotional, more feeling type, we really appreciate them more. And yeah, all these people like because I'm introvert, rational, try to get the whole team come together. I find it especially hard for me. In fact, for me to think about strategy, product, I think that one I can use relatively less energy. But getting the team, convince them, have many one-on-one call, all this like really drain me. Like session like this, now I think slightly better, but always having a big session, I go back, then I need to watch my Netflix, rest a bit, recharge a bit, yeah, because I'm more introvert type. Anyway, for me, people is the hardest, but it's also the most important thing, every aspect about the people side of thing. Yeah, I hope I answer your question. Yeah.
You, Jeffrey? Still not working. Okay, let's do this. I see people are queuing up already. So let me try this. I want to give both sides opportunities. So I think just now we had this side. So can we go to this side first, and then we'll take turns from both sides. Go ahead, please.
Hi Jeffrey, Amani from Indonesia. You have acquired like more than 120,000 plus B2B clients today. So how do you convince that huge of number of B2B clients? Yeah, how do you like convince that huge of number of clients, and how to like give them up as your clients?
I think, let me rephrase, your question is how to acquire all these customers along the way.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, I think being in B2B especially, we are selling to enterprise, setting up a huge sales team or effective sales team is very important and also very, very hard. I always say B2B, you have two engines like a plane. One side of the engine is product, the other side is the go-to-market team, the sales team. So, and I would say specifically for B2B SaaS, if any of you interested in B2B SaaS software, I would say along all these years, different price point is very different go-to-market. Less than $10,000 a year software and sell between 10,000 to 100,000, and more than 100,000 is literally 3 sales organization, 3 different type of master, 3 different type of salesperson you have to master. So below 10,000, I think is more self-serve, what we call PLG, product-led growth, like Dropbox, many others like OpenAI, GPT, where the user can go and self-pay. For the mid-tier 10,000 to 100,000 software a year. Those you can use what we call inside sales team, call them. But building an inside sales team, literally is like, not sure if you all watched the movie Wolf of Wall Street, like the boiler room, everyone like calling, that kind of environment. More than 100K is proper enterprise salesperson. Those sales, all my sales guy there wearing a suit, tie, wine and dine with the customer and close a 6-7 digit figure contract. So very different. All these different price point determine your sales, the type of sales organization. And of course, then you have to identify the market, the right market and the right messaging. I think many people always try to say everything they do, but really the market nowadays, so many noise, so many signal. I think really have to refine that until you tell your customer literally in 1-2 minutes they can understand what you do, what you are differentiated at. So I emphasize a lot within the company, everything we do must be differentiated, must have differentiation. If you are not doing something different, if you are just doing something slightly 10% better here, 10% cheaper here, then rather don't do. Just we must do something different. Yeah, that's kind of is a big question. There are many to answer, but I will stop here. Hopefully, answer some of it. Yeah.
So, hello, Mr. Tiong. I'm Zipeng from China. I have a question about the terms in the share purchase agreement, which is that founders should buy back all of the shares if there will be no good ways for investors to exit. So have you met with such kind of situation? And if so, how you negotiated with those investors? And what's your opinion about that, since I think that it's quite unfair that founders should take all the unlimited liabilities. Okay, so that's my question. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So the question is, there is this clause that after 5 years, the investor can take back their money as with interest rate over the years. Yep. I want to, before I answer this specific one, I want to step back and answer how I look at the relationship between investee and investor and how you negotiate the term sheet. So I will say, really in business or especially in fundraising also terms, really anything is possible. Yeah, when I raised our first round of funding, the angel fund, they take a lot of equity, they take control of the board, like everything. And then one thing, when I went to China after that, I learned that no, founder take control, yeah, on the board. I think there are many ways you can fight for the control. But I would say in general, the term sheet, the SPA, SHA, in general, there are 2 tracks. One is power, your control right. Do you own super voting, shareholder right, board right, and like how much leeway you can basically dictate your company direction. The other is economic right. So if make money, who take first card, that guy take last card, he take his money first and then take another card, all sort of this kind of terms. So, and for that specific term, I have seen, and actually because nowadays, especially Chinese market, I see many of my Chinese peers get squeezed because of that term. So investor force them, hey, take back the money, and they have to have no choice to do. But end of the day, all these terms on the term sheet are actually chips for you to bargain and negotiate in the next round or when things happen. So investor, if your company is doing well, why would they kind of take their money? It kind of destroy the company. So all this is back and forth, you just have to negotiate. Of course, if during the last round negotiation, you have lose more or not so favorable terms, then in your next round, then it's harder for you or take some time for you to slowly get back more to negotiate more rights for yourself, for the founding team and the company. Yeah, so like for us as an example, in our first round, we lose our board right, all this. But subsequently, then we get back our majority board control. Like for me, one founder, I hold 4-5 board seat vote and all this and that. Of course, all this provided for you to be able to negotiate is you are doing well. If you are not doing well, no leverage. Secondly, market is good. Now definitely market not good, also less leverage for the sell side for founders. Yeah.
Thank you. So turn to this side, please.
Hi, President Jeffries. It's been an honor to speak to you, and I have two questions to ask you. The first one is like, in the early stage of startup, how can you convince someone to work with you? For example, like if I want to start a software company but don't know how to write a program or how to code, how can I convince people who have this kind of knowledge to work with me? And the second question is like, do you consider an IPO? And if yes, what is the reason? Because like based on the past few weeks, many founders and investors tell us that the IPO probably be one of the final goals of the unicorn companies. But I want to ask you because you are the founder of unicorn companies. Thank you.
Thank you. I answer the second question first. To me, I always see IPO is not the ending. It's just another round of fundraising to me. Because it's the same. You just raise money from the public, have more requirement, more regulatory. It's just another round of fundraising. But I do have an aspiration to list PatSnap because my nature, I'm curious. I just want to know how is it like running a public listed company. Every quarter you have to deliver a number. If not, your stock price tank. I want to know how is it running a public listed company. So that is one. Then for the first question, yeah, I think the short answer is as entrepreneur, I believe all of you are aspiring to be not just in business but in life as well. I really believe in hustle, just hustle. Never take no as an answer. Yeah, never. Because after all this year, I find just my access and talking. I met many billionaires, talking to them, the way they think, and really how I used to think from a middle working class family, very different. I think the education nowadays in the whole society teach all of us. I'm in NUS now, but teach all of us to be an employee, to be a follower. Yeah, we need to learn to think on our own foot, to say what is right and wrong. Many society tell you, that one is like this one like that. No, I don't think so. Now all this year I see more and more clarity, what a lot of time, what the society tell you to do, what the government say, and many people say, or so-called expert, I don't think so as well. Yeah, then you have to think on your own foot, and then sometimes just hustle. So a bit, I have 3 co-founder. One, my Indian co-founder from London, my Chinese co-founder from China, and my CTO early days is German. I met all of them through serendipity and just hustle. My CTO co-founder, he was exchange student here in NUS, then he went back Germany. Then I started PatSnap 1 year already, and then I'm going to China. I remember he sent me email November, because I was hustling around here, talk to all the SOC prof, like, hey, do you have any tech guy? I need tech guy. And then the prof helped me blast his email to his mailing group, and then he got it, and he sent me an email in November. And then he went to my Gmail spam filter, and then December, Christmas, nothing to do, I was cleaning, and then I saw his email, and then I called him, say, hey, and then just half an hour back then we used Skype. And then he say, he want to come. I say, I don't have office in Singapore. I set up office in China. If you want, you go China. And he never been to China. And he just went. After think 1 week, he said, yeah, I come. And very low pay, not high pay. I couldn't afford him. And after I talked to him, why you join a startup, like nothing back then in China? He say, his answer is, he like Asian girl, that's all. That's his answer. Yeah, a lot of serendipity. Yeah, how I met my other co-founder as well. But I would say, just hustle. Now he has a Chinese wife, living happily.
Good for him. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Thank you as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Turn this side, please.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm also a tech guy from Germany. Nice to meet you. I really found the setbacks that you talked about very insightful, so thank you very much for sharing that. And my 2 impressions were, one, wow, that takes an insane amount of mental strength, but I guess you just get that from doing it. And but the other thing is that I was curious about is it probably also needs a really, really fast speed of learning, because if you hit those setbacks and you learn out of struggle rather than prevention, then you probably have to be fast to learn the lessons, right? So I was wondering also for that reason, and because you took the company from 0 to pretty damn big now, how you reinvented yourself at every stage of the company, because I imagine it needs a different kind of person at every stage. And you also talked about how the company was restructured and the structure changed a lot every time. How did you learn so fast?
Thank you. This is a very, very good question. So there are few values inside PatSnap I have been heavily emphasizing over the years. It's all related to how you keep reinventing yourself. And nowadays when now I'm more busy, but in the last few years, if I want to back an entrepreneur, give him money, one thing I assess is this entrepreneur can iterate, can learn fast enough or not, and how we assess that. Or I think the mental strength you mentioned and the second one all tie together. First thing is really be open to ideas. Like don't just shut out the ideas. Anything I always tell my team, just listen first. You can disagree, but digest, process, then you come back and say disagree. But many times, unfortunately, people just very automatically just defensive. I say, no, this cannot be done straight away. So I think having just try to have an open mind, and that means just listen first. Don't give comment, listen first. Yeah, and go back. And many times also, especially something that you don't like to hear, especially someone say some feedback, criticism that you feel bad. Those are the time more you even need to just keep quiet and listen. Because really all this year, I find 9 out of 10 times when you listen something bad, people give you feedback, criticism, but you feel like so injustice, you want to like, but most of the time they are right. Yeah, and these people who willing to give you that is knowing that you won't like to hear and they still give you, is actually you thank them. Thank you. Yeah.
Can I do one very quick follow-up? What about the stuff that you didn't know that you didn't know?
Yeah. So it's hard. Until now, I'm still try to look ahead what I don't know that I don't know. I think over the years, I try to talk to more people. So for me at this stage, I will talk to people that have done slightly 1-2 stage beyond me and try to learn from them. Because all this, I think, just have to learn from people who has done that. I think this is also beware. I think a lot of times, like we have many advisor, all this, but so-called advisor, but I think the best is listen to someone who has done that, been there, not from someone who just theory. I think also need to listen to theory, but if you want to get hardcore advice, I think need to listen from someone who has done that. Yeah.
Okay. This side, please.
Hello, Mr. Jeffrey. I'm Vidini from Indonesia, and I'd like to talk a bit about the technical and the business philosophy behind deploying your own LLM models. Because as we know, the field of LLM is like really rapid growing. Like back then we had GPT-4 and now GPT-4 Omni and Cloud 3.5. And Mr. Jeffrey here had an idea to deploy your own LLM through the open source Llama 3 models. As far as I know, the Llama 3 models took like 160 gigabytes of VRAM to deploy unquantized, and like a single H100 GPUs is like around 80 gigabytes of VRAM. It costs around like $30,000. So you need like 2 of them to deploy just one Llama 3 unquantized model. So what's the philosophy behind like, oh, we have to deploy our own models as opposed to just using like the already existing service made by OpenAI or cloud, like they are better performing, and sometimes like when there is a new Llama models like Llama 4, you might need to replace your GPUs. Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been talking to many people from the AI industry. So I think by and large, I will categorize to 3 tiers of AI players. The first tier are those OpenAI, Google, Baidu, Tencent, Huawei. I just spoke to Huawei last week. They have very strong their own model. These are tier 1 player. they build a foundation from scratch. And this costs billions of dollars and tens of thousands of GPU cards to train that. And those are really only those players can play. And there are tier 2 and tier 3. I will categorize PatSnap to tier 2 player, where we use open source, and on top of it, we do a lot of other things, the vertical data training, the SFT, the RAG, and all these different things to make it very specific for our industry use case. And I know many other people also belong to the tier 2 category. Tier 3 is just literally you call their API, and then on top of it, you just fine tune whatever you can. Those are less customization, less configuration you can do, but of course the cost is lower as well. As you go up the tier, then the cost is, the investment is higher. Like for us, we invest at least 10 million a year for our own model, the team, the whole headcount, the GPU. So this is how I see 3 tier, and really depend on your use case, your customer segment. Do you really need that much of customization? Do you have the data even in the first place? Do you have the resource? Then to determine to which kind of approach strategy you use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thanks for the valuable lecture today. I'm Jin Ho from South Korea. And I thought that your co-founders are coming from the international backgrounds, like all from different countries. But when I look at the Korean startup ecosystem, I can sometimes see that the startup founders are trying to find the founders from Korea, like not from the international backgrounds. And I want to ask, is there any difference between like finding the co-founders from different countries in the same country, and does it affect the company growth? And like, how do you think about the overall ecosystems about this sticking to the same country co-founders? Thank you.
Yep. Before I answer that, also I want to preface, I think my own experience that the same situation each of us face may sound similar or even exactly the same, but that answer or solution will not always be the same as well. So always take it with a pinch of salt, with everything people tell you, including I can say this is just from my own experience, but may not be applicable to everyone as well. So on this co-founder nationality diversity, I think the question, so I always believe in diversity. I think more diverse, you then have more ideas, brainstorm, but then it really tests your leadership skill to manage diverse people. Like my team come from 3-4, my co-founder come from 3-4 nationality, and then different background. It's hard. I spend a lot of early years just try to get them hang out together. They all also don't like each other. Yeah, I spend a lot of time there. So it's tough, yeah. I would say for my case, somehow work out because of this diversity. That's why PatSnap now, our revenue are quite distributed. It's not concentrated on one geographical market. So I think that helped, especially in the geopolitics risk moving forward as well. But along the way, definitely, yeah, to just get this diverse team work together is tough, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeffrey. I'm Princess from the Philippines, and we genuinely appreciate all the insights you shared today. And I'm building a startup in the health tech field, and I'm curious, like, if you could go back in time with all the knowledge you have right now, how would you approach to become a unicorn startup founder if you were in our position as students?
Yeah, there are many things I wish can do better. Yeah, many things. Actually, key one will be related to just now our German friend asked here, like how to iterate yourself fast. When I look back, there are many times, kind of when you are in the down period, I was very down, and I think few years back officially diagnosed depression. I didn't know, yeah, because it always just works as Tiong. And then I think this mental health thing is important, how to keep your mind, body, soul really recharged. Because imagine day in, day out, every day work for long hours, and then fly around. Like it really take a toll on your mental strength. And now really I can feel as I age, my body strength, physical strength also get less and less as well. So I think that all this to optimize it such that it also help your mind better, more open, and can take in feedback, everything better as well. So if I look back, I will say I wish overall I can manage my energy level every day better. I know how to take a break. I know how to recharge myself, have clarity on the thoughts, and keep improving myself. And life is life. I think they always set back. Sometimes just don't take it too seriously as well. And if I take a look back, if I take a lighter heart, I think everything will be better. Our progress will be much faster as well.
I have a follow-up question. I think a lot of us here are from developing countries. And do you have any advice for students that come from developing countries who aspire to be a unicorn founder like you with limited resources and opportunities?
Yeah, I will consider I also came from developing country, Malaysia. I think it's the same. I think the fact that you all today, I just asked about this program, spend 2 weeks here, have a very immersive entrepreneurship program, have a lot of great speakers share with you all. I think this is already, I think you all have done something right to be here, to hustle to be here. Yeah. And I think there's no, I would say, quick answer to that. I also know many of my other Chinese entrepreneurs, I know they also come from very humble beginning, humble village. But end of the day, not about, one thing I strongly believe, when I hire people as well, really not about where you're from, is who are you, how you think about yourself. I always share that I really met many smart people from MIT, Stanford, Beida, Tsinghua. Their starting curve is here. And I will consider myself here. But over the years, because you have the right mindset, what we call growth mindset, willing to learn, iterate, our growth trajectory is much faster compared to even someone supposedly with a good background. So I would say not about background, don't be too bothered about background, but really have a positive mindset. I think we'll go very far. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we are running out of time, but maybe Jeffrey will have time for 2 more questions. One on this side and one on this side.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'll do my last question. Sorry, there's one more, sorry. My name's Owen, I'm from China. I feel really relatable to your journey because I did my study in North America. So I'm down for some baijiu if you're down in the future. So my question is, you said that you don't recommend fresh graduates to start their own business. Can you specify a little bit what you mean by that? And if a fresh graduate wants to start a business, what are some knowledge or tools that they should be equipped to before they're starting one?
Yeah. Of course, as I say, take everything with a pinch of salt. This is my own experience, may not applicable to everyone. But there are so many things we have to learn after, not just after graduate, even now. Every day I'm still learning many new things. Like recently, we want to buy a company in US, but you have US regulations, CFIUS, all this and that. I talk to the lawyer. So every day is learning. I think I can't recommend a specific skill set that someone must have fresh out of graduation in order to start a business. But I think I really still come back to the point that having the right mindset, our mind is our greatest weapon. Having a positive, malleable, growth mindset. When there are days you got knocked down, like on the floor, and really someone just stepping on you like this, you still fucking stand back up and move forward. That kind of determination, grit, and positive learn, I think that is the most powerful thing you can have. Once you have that, all other skill, knowledge can be learned, can be self-taught as well.
Thank you. I'll see you down the road.
Actually, I was going to say thank you, Jeffrey, of course, but also come to NUS, kind of NUS Enterprise, and check out all the programs that we have to offer. So, one last question.
Hey, hello, Jeffrey. First of all, I want to thank you for your amazing sharing and really, really appreciate the authenticity in your sharing in the panel as well. So the last question that I want to ask is regarding your leadership journey. So previously you shared that last time, you can just have a meal, just share, hey guys, hey, let's do this, okay? But of course now you're managing a huge number of people. So my question is, how would you say you were as a leader in the past and now? And how do you think your leadership journey changed throughout the years?
Yep. Thanks for the question. Really changed a lot, and at the same time also no change. Let me break it down. I think deep down my core value is still the same. I actually call myself, I would say I'm a curious child. I always just wonder, have a lot of curiosity. But my kind of persona, my skill set, my understanding on myself has self-awareness has getting better over the years. So today me, I would say much more self-aware than 5 years, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I just work hard and chill. But now I know why I do that. What is my motivation? Like why? A lot of why. Yeah, I understand myself better, and I think most important, I highly recommend not just for leadership but in our life. I believe in life is about knowing yourself and accepting yourself as well, and love yourself, because a lot of times people have a lot of insecurity. I think one thing about leadership that I see many people hit their ceiling is because they are insecure, and that's why they can't manage certain type of people. Certain type of people either smarter or just very different style, like I'm very introvert, someone very extrovert. Then you can't work with them, you can't empathize with them, then you can't manage them. They won't follow you, they won't listen to you. And in order to do that, we first understand ourselves. Like why do I don't like this type of people? Why do I hate emotional people? Why? Yeah. They're also people. Yeah, same. And why there are a lot of things, if you know yourself better, then you only can work with other people better. In a sense, can be a better leader. So that is kind of my own journey, that along the years, I think I accept myself more, better, and more self-awareness. That helped me relate and understand and communicate better with other people around me as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey, again, for being so generous with your time. And if I may, just by listening to Jeffrey, summarize everything he's told us, I would say only 2 words: be humble and ready to hustle. So with that, thank you. Thank you again, Jeffrey. Yes.
Thank you.